Hi everyone, welcome in this video. I'm Aryan and today we are going to create this blog section in WordPress by using Bricks Builder. You can check the description of this video to know more about my setup. So let's start on the way. The first thing we need to create is of course this first container with the titles. So let's go quickly. Plus button, container, and into the container I would go with plus and I would add a heading. And then I would add a basic text. Then we need to create this part here. So I'm go on section, plus button, container. Make sure this container is inside of the section. So just click and drag it here. Sometimes it pulls it out. So make sure it's inside. And once done that, we need to create a block to handle this element here. And to do that very easily, before doing the block with this container selected, I will go and select display grid, and here on grid you can of course use one FR and one FR, okay, to divide into two columns. Otherwise, if you're using AutomaticCSS like me, right click and choose two. Perfect. Now that we have two columns, we also need to add a row. So grid template rows do the same thing to rows. Great. So now we need to create our block. With the container selected, plus button, and search for block. If you click on block, you can open this up and you will find block. Let's call this one horizontal card post. Perfect. Once named, we can add the elements inside of it. So make sure it's selected. Let's go on the design. And as you can see, we have two columns inside of the block. And then we have those items. So let's quickly do this. Display, grid template columns, right click, 2, and of course it's dividing it perfectly in two. Later we can set up and change this setting. For now, let's add our image first. Plus button, search for the image. Okay, you can open up this layer here to see what's going on. So before adding the image, or in this case with the image selected, I would right click and say wrap into a div, and I would call it image wrapper. Perfect. Now click again on horizontal card post, plus button, and let's add another div, and I will call content wrapper. With content wrapper selected, plus button, and we start adding the text. We could add the heading. Let me open up this so we see. Then I can duplicate this, and this way I will call it small heading, and this would be the big heading. Okay. And let's click again on content wrapper. There is also some text, so plus button here, add basic text. And then we also need to add another div inside of it. So search for div, and I would call this auto wrapper. With auto wrapper selected, display, grid, and here we are going to add our grid. So let me very quickly set this up. Let me check the design. So as you can see, it's set it up in this way. Okay, so there is this item here and this, so it's actually two columns. So let's do one FR and two FR. Okay, as you can see now, I have the image here that is smaller and the content here is bigger. with that done, we actually need to click auto wrapper, and with auto wrapper selected, we need to add two divs. Okay, and the first div, click on it and you will find it here. I can duplicate this twice, and the first div will be called avatar wrapper, and the second div text wrapper, in this way. Okay, so we have our structure. We need to add the elements. So in avatar wrapper selected, plus button, search for an image like that, text wrapper, make sure it's selected, text wrapper, display, flex, vertical, and now I'm also adding a few elements, plus button, and you can go and add two basic text like this. Okay, let's now very quickly add the content, the correct text, because otherwise, you know, everything looks broken. So this one would be design. So I'm a heading, oops, would be design. This one would be UX review presentation, and we have some text here like this. Perfect. There is also word limits if you want to make it stop after, you know, some number of words. You can use this setting here. For now, I will keep it like that. Or maybe let's try to put it like 10 and read more. You can add a read more if you want. So this is not dynamic, so you won't see anything changing, but you need to make dynamic. Anyway, let's go forward. Takes the name of this user, Olivia, and the date of the post probably. Okay, and yeah, so let's try to add also the images. Click on the first image, and what is the image of the design? Okay, it's those kind of 3D glasses here. And then we also have the image of the avatar that we can select. And the avatar would be, let me see if I can find something. For now, we can use this avatar. Okay, so now the structure is actually done. We should make the styling of the elements to make it look, of course, like the design. And let's do very quickly right now that. So first of all, I would style the text to make sure everything is in place. So first thing, make sure also those tags are never named the same, just for organization. Like this one should be author name, and this one should be post date. I do this because it's very important to organize the elements when you use AutoBAM functionality to add all the classes to the item. I usually go on the item I want to save it, and basically you click on BAM, for example. Okay, and if you BAM this one, you can give a name to the thing. So here there is my video. Let me drag and drop this here. So now auto wrapper is basically this one, right? It's, as you can see from the design, is this one. And I usually go and click apply classes. Okay. You can also give him a name, a particular name, by changing this, and he will change it all over the place. So let me click on auto wrapper, and with auto wrapper done, now I can style everything. Okay. So before doing that, I will do the same thing to the rest of the card. So horizontal card post. Okay, I will go and click on BAM, and here, as you can see, oops, there is the same thing. We can BAM everything as you want. And horizontal card post, I think this is okay. You can add you know, the classes. And now if you click on an image, look, it has the class or the text here. He has his own class. So everything has a class, right? And it's working fine. So now what we actually need to do is styling everything. So let's start by styling the card, right? Okay, so I would go and style the text first because it's taking a lot of space. So design, I would go and click this and style and typography, font size, right click, and I would go with S. The design is not the same, but you know, I'm going quickly. So click on the title now and then click this typography. You can change the typography, of course. Font size, I'm using AutomaticCSS, and I would go with an M or L. You can decide it. Let's go with an M. And then I have this text here. Click on here, and I think this text could be staying that size. Let's say I want an S but a little bit bigger, so I can calculate this and just say, you know, multiply times 2. Now it's too big, so I'm going to do 1.2 for example, and as you can see, it's a good sizing now. Great. So now I'm going to style also this text, Olivia Rehe. I don't know how to pronounce that, sorry. So as you can see, it's a little bit bolder, and then there is this little text. So click on here. We have auto wrapper name. Okay. There is 2 classes, and this is a problem because I BAMmed the whole card and it BAMmed twice this one. So what you can actually do is this. So basically we need to remove all the classes here. This is a mistake I made. Let me see if I can remove them from here. So you need to find the horizontal post outer wrapper, and you can basically remove all of the classes you added in this way. Okay, so here make sure it's not rename classes. No, it's correct because we are just removing it. So apply, and now if you get here, oh sorry, I had to click on remove classes. Give me 1 second. Not rename. So actually this one is a problem. Like you cannot remove them from here. If I try again, the outer wrapper looks like it's not actually removing it. So you actually need to remove it manually. So next time, just make sure you actually BAM everything from the main thing. Anyway, let's clean up this. So where we are, outer wrapper. Content wrapper, where is it? Okay, outer wrapper is what we need to clean up. So click on outer wrapper and just remove this one, the horizontal card post class. We are going to remove it from all of those very quickly. I really apologize, guys. I had to do this differently, but okay, this happens. Perfect. Okay, so let's get back to our name here. Outer wrapper selected. I will go on style, typography, font size, right click. I would go with let's say S, and then font weight I could go with you know, 700 or 800 as you wish. And then for this other text too, I'm going to click on it, activate the class, font size, right click and say S. And here on S, I can keep it in this way. So another thing is the image. So the image is a little bit big, so I can click here and I can get on content, make sure the aspect ratio is 1/1, so it's a perfect square. HTML tag, it's a figure, and then object fit default, it's okay. And go on style. And let's go on layout. And here you can choose the width. So those width are a little bit bigger. So I will go with 2em or like 3em. Let's say 3em is okay. And then close this tab, go on border, click on border here, radius. You can right click if you're using AutomaticCSS, select circle, and just do it in this way. Cool. So right now we have this problem that, you know, the columns are not really getting it right. So what we actually need to do is this. We can get on, let's say, the auto wrapper. Okay. Go on content. And then here we actually need to make sure this one is not so spaced. So to do that, I usually go and try to use 3FR or like 4FR. Okay, here depends on your preferences. And for example, 4FR for me works great. And you can also go here on align items and say center. So now everything is center, right? Okay, great. Once done this, now we have our fonts here correctly set it up. We need to add some spacing here. For the spacing, we need to understand on the design how we set it up. So looks like those two elements are really close together, and this one is less close together. Or maybe it's me. Okay, so actually those three items looks close together, and this one has a different spacing here. So to do that, you can click on design. So we have small heading, big heading, and text basic. They should go in a wrapper. Or let me see. Yep, they should go in a wrapper. So small heading, right click, wrap it into a div, and you call it text wrapper. Okay. Open the text wrapper, big heading into this just below the small, and text just below the big heading. So now, as you can see, we have text wrapper and then auto wrapper, right? If I close the structure, we have those two wrapper here. And now with content wrapper, I can basically tell him by clicking here and then display flex, say vertical, and I would go with a row gap, right click, and let's say XS, let's go with S, and then you can go on text wrapper, do the same thing, display, flex, row gap. Before row gap, click on direction vertical, then go on row gap, right click, and you can choose S, XS, or even less. For example, I will go with XS. Okay, looks good. And if you want to reduce the space, you can just make a calculation here and just parentheses and, you know, just say multiply 1 point, not multiply, I'm sorry, divide for 2. And now the spacing is basically divided in 2. Yeah, so that's really, really cool, right? So once done that, we need to go on content wrapper. Okay, the content wrapper is basically this part here. Okay, and with content wrapper selected, you could go and select center. Now everything is center. Okay, and then on the horizontal card post, I would add some gap on this setting here, gap, right click, and just add the gap like this. Okay, let's check the design and see how much gap they have. The gap looks very similar, so I'm okay with that. And okay, so now that we created this, make also sure, let me open up the card. Where is it? Okay. The horizontal card post, okay, if you click on BAM, you will find that we have added a few things like text wrapper here, right? We need to enable text wrapper, okay? So just enable text wrapper so that it will add also this class, and then there is my camera here, apply classes, and now also text wrapper will have his class. And then what we can do is to duplicate this item multiple times. So click on the horizontal card post, and you can duplicate it by clicking this icon. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's wait. And now, as you can see, everything is set it up correctly. If I want to add some spacing between the elements, go on the container with the container selected, gap, and here you can add your gap. Let's go with S. Looks good. Let me check the design. Okay, so in the design, they have a lot more gap here at the bottom. Yeah, we can add more gap here if you want. I pretty like it how you set it up, but let's say I want to add more gap here. You should just change this one to something bigger. Okay, M or L, and now you have more gap everywhere actually. Okay, so let's go on the container here. And let's see what we can change here. Okay, so I'm going to use an M, okay, because I prefer not so much spacing. Now that I have those elements set it up, I can also style the design. This should be a category, right? So you can also style this to a different color if you want to make sure it's clickable. Like you can also choose the action color if you prefer. And as you can see now, everything changed because we are using classes. That's great, right? And then we're going to style this very quickly also. So let me go on the design, latest writing. So now very quickly, I'm going to change this. Where is it? Content. What did I use here? So I actually used post title. It's the wrong one. So let me add a heading instead of a post title. So if you use post title, you cannot edit it because it dynamically gives you the thing. So the heading, okay, great. So now this the heading is the correct heading. Latest writing, and here we have this text here. Okay. Then container, click on it, just make sure to center everything, and then click again on the text and make sure the style is center. And also for this text here, make sure the style is center. Of course, this title could be also made bigger. So font size, you could go with XXL if you want. And then this one, we can keep it like this. Then I would close all my structure to see, have a better view. And on section, you just go on content, and as always, row gap. You can also use content gap here, container gap look. ACSS is great because it has also really cool settings here. So I would go on container gap now, and now we have our correct gap. So if you want to change the image very quickly, or let's say you want to make this image smaller, you can really go with this activated on style and just tell him 2EM instead. And as you can see, everything adapts. The only thing here is the column that, it's not really adapting to the, how can I say, to the item. So let's set up this correctly. So let me go and click on this and make sure I'm the auto wrapper. Sorry. So auto wrapper selected. So as you can see, what we did, we did also a mistake here. We basically styled the auto wrapper before adding a class. And if you want to solve that issue, it's very, very simple. You can basically do this. You can auto wrapper and copy styles, and then you can say you can open up here, and this is the class, right? The auto wrapper class we are having here, and you can say paste style, and then once you pasted it, you can remove everything here, and as you can see, nothing changed because we pasted it into the class. Let me check if there is anything else. Nope. And if I activate the class, look at this. We have everything set it up correctly. So that's great, right? If you made some sort of mistakes, you don't need to do it manually. You can change it by copying and pasting the style. So okay, we did that. And now we could also change this one if you want. Okay, to 5. So the others now are not changing because they still have, you know, the classes saved. So I would go, I would usually duplicate everything again. So you can just fix this. So let's say you make it 6, or let's say you make it 8. Okay, you can choose whatever you want. I make it like 4. Wait, not 4, maybe 5. Okay, and looks great, perfect. And now, as this one are not changing because we set it up few things here, you can basically close everything here. Okay, and just do this, duplicate, duplicate, and duplicate. And as you can see now, everything will be the same. And if I do any changes here, it will change everywhere. Okay, great. So if you want to replace very quickly the images, click on the image and you know, you can choose your image. Let me see the design. So we have some people here, this one and this one. So we have some people here. Then we have this one, and then we have this one. Okay, so we changed everything. You can also change the image if you want very quickly. So let's set up. I won't do the same as the design this time because, you know, are small things. And then I would change this one with this one. Okay, so we set it up everything correctly, like the design. Now we can actually check out if the responsiveness is working. So something I noticed that I don't really like is the fact that the image are not taking the whole space when it goes in this way. Also, I noticed this little problem that is getting here, like they are really close together. So let's see how we can set up this one together, okay? So first of all, this one probably should not be a grid, okay? Because we should use Flexbox. And to use Flexbox, click on the author page here, and you can actually remove the grid settings, everything, and set it up as Flexbox. With Flexbox selected, make sure this is horizontal, and column gap, right click and just say XS or whatever. Okay, so now as you can see, everything changed accordingly. And if I try to go on the responsiveness, this is working perfectly. So once done that, click on this one, this image here, and then you need to tell him, first of all, click on the class to change on all images, layout, height, 100%. And now, look at this. The image takes the 100%. How to solve the problem of the image compressing? Very simple. Get back on the desktop version, go on content, HTML tag figure, make sure that's set it up, and object fit cover. Perfect. Now everything will be automatically resizing without compression. Okay, so on tablet looks great. You can, you know, still keep this design, but let's say that from the landscape, I don't really like this compressed stuff. I want it vertical, right? So to do that is very, very simple. You click on this container here, make sure the container is selected, close it up to make sure you are on the correct one. And if you click on it, you can choose to say, to select one grid. And look at this. Amazing, right? Now you have your content vertically. It looks great. And also on mobile, it looks great. Look, everything set it up correctly. So, so great. Everything looks nice. Everything looks aligned. As you can see, everything is aligned here. It's not like overflowing or getting around. If you want to actually have those vertical too, to make sure, you know, content is more readable, or make sure, like, you know, if you have longer title, it won't break up in any case, click on the first one. So horizontal card, let me close all of them so you have a better view. Horizontal card is the first one, and I'm going to click this and just ask him to go vertical. So now it's not working, right? Because we made a mistake at the beginning, and I will show you where, because I already found a mistake. The mistake is that actually we don't need to activate the class, maybe. Let me try very quickly. So it's changing it only to the first one. What could be the problem here? Click on this. Make sure this one is selected. So what I actually noticed is this one. If you remove the class, it's showing this. So as before we made a mistake, we need to right click, copy the styles, and here we need to paste it to the horizontal card post. So click here, horizontal card post, you will find it always on the top, paste style, and then you can remove this. And if I click here, everything is set up. So let's do the same thing to the other card. If I click this one, I need to remove this one and this one. Let me check on style if you have anything. Nope. And other card, I will remove this one and this one and this one. And the other card, remove this one, and this one. Oh, this one. Okay. So now, if I get on mobile and I say activate this, I see the values in the desktop version, and I click one, and everything changed to vertical. Cool, right? And let's say I want to have more spacing between the elements. You can click on this container here and basically tell him I want more spacing. And on mobile now, I have a lot more spacing and things are separated better, like they are not confusing as before. And we created our design so variable, like on mobile everything is vertical, on here vertical but horizontal card. Great, amazing. Okay guys, so the tutorial is finished. I hope the tutorial was useful, so like button and subscribe of course to my YouTube channel to know more about Bricks Builder and WordPress in general, and have a nice day. Thanks.